Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, those who are really facing some problem, make sure you're logging off and joining back in. That will be better. Okay. So you will get voice clarity, and just check your voice settings as well. Okay. So we'll wait for 3 minutes. Wow, 50 cross. Good. So we are going to have two polls. It's just for sake of understanding of the audience, and I will launch that poll in a short while at 7:35, and I will also tell you what are we going to discuss in next 90 odd minutes, 80 minutes, we'll say. Okay, so this will be a value added session. Okay, now I really want you guys to have your pen and paper ready and type in PP once you are ready. Okay, pen and paper. Very, very important to take notes by your own hand. Grabbing screen is not going to help. You have to be connected with your hand, with your mind. Make sure you are taking notes. Make sure whatever you feel as important topic, take notes and grab your pen and paper and type in PP in the comment box. I want you guys to be active on comment box. Those who can join using laptops or desktops, please join using laptop or desktop. Don't join using mobile phones. If you don't have any option, that's perfectly fine, but otherwise just make sure you are joining using laptop or desktop. Okay, good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for replies, guys. So you all are ready with pen and paper, and make sure you are not having any distraction from anywhere else. Make sure you are just attending this session for next 90 minutes without any distraction. Okay, and you, yeah, good. So those who are on laptop, they will feel uh, much secured, much safe, because it's easy to watch, it's easy to understand, and use headsets if you wish to, so that you are not listening to any other noise. Okay, so good, 70 participants, 2 more minutes to go. What's the time? Yeah, 1 more minute to go, and we will begin with a poll. Okay, 70, good. That's a good number. On a very short notice, less than 4 or 5 hours, I think I got this. So on a very short notice, it's a good count, and I'm really happy that people are interested in seating system. People are here to learn something. Okay, so how many of you are here to learn something? Type in learn if you are here to learn something. Good. Type in L. L is okay. No need to fully type it. Good. Okay, and I promise you guys that you will be learning something. Okay, this is not just another session. This is a session where you are really going to understand what is a seating system. Of course, in a limited time, I cannot boil down all my 15, 16 years of experience. So I really want you guys to just understand the importance of seating system out of this session. And at the same time, I really want you guys to completely focus on a product rather than a tool. Okay, so it's not a CAD session, it's not a CAE session either. We are eventually going to start this as a CAE session, but it's not a CAD session, it's not a CAE session, it's a product session. Okay, and when I say product session, I really want everyone in this crowd to be an SMTE. Okay, it's going to be SMTE. Akshay, it's not possible, not in this session. It's going to be a full 1.5 month long training program where we will be doing an LS Dyna deck setup. For sure, if you are expecting LS Dyna deck setup today, I would ask you to leave. Okay, if you are expecting that, that's not something we are going to cover. So I don't want you to be giving fake promises. I will be saying, I'm telling you that this is going to be an introductory session. Okay, it is done a deck setup, not possible in 90 minutes. Everyone knows that. Okay, so what I'm trying to convey to you guys is I want everyone to be a subject matter technical expert, SMTE. After some time, of course, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line, not a tool operator. Make sure you are writing this word in your notebook, SMTE, subject matter technical expert. Okay, make sure you're actually writing it down. subject matter technical expert. You should not be a tool operator. Otherwise, it's just going to be waste of everyone's time. You are supposed to have a goal where you will be considered as a subject matter technical expert. Okay, good. So almost 80 people are there. Kumar, you have any question? Do you have any question, Kumar? Shall I unmute you? No, I cannot unmute because I think your microphone is not working anyway. Kumar, you have to log out and log in because I cannot see a microphone symbol in front of you. So that may be a problem at your end because everyone else is able to watch it. Yes, I think I'm recording. I record every single session of mine just for my own understanding, but I will try to put it on YouTube on my channel. So how many of you are actually subscribed to my channel on YouTube? It's you can search it as Eleno Engineering Learning Center. That's me. Okay, Learning Center. Okay, so those who are not subscribed, just check my link here and just make sure that you are subscribing later. Don't do it right now. Don't do it right now. Okay, just remember this name, Eleno. Eleno is elements and nodes. Okay, so later, not a problem. Fine. Okay, guys, are you ready? Type in ready. If you are ready, we will start with our session, and I will be starting to share my screen. Type in ready quick. If you are ready, type in ready, 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 ready. Okay, good. So we'll try to cover most of these slides, but I will be discussing along with, okay, so I'll disable the annotation, don't worry. Ready, everyone? Okay, good. Thanks, Krishna. Thanks, Marvin. Thanks, John, Supriya. Thanks for joining. Mohit, thank you very much. Okay, good. So I'm going to start with, yeah, good. Mohammed, nice to see you. I will start with a poll, and guys, quickly answer that poll question. And I will just disable, 1 second, guys. I'll just disable the annotation. It's not your fault. It happens on a touchscreen device. Don't worry. So I'll just disable the annotation. I think you will not be able to uh, check anything now. So I'll clear everything. Yep, here you go. Okay, ready everyone. Thanks, Sheetal. Good. So I'm launching a poll. It's the first poll. Yes. So there are 80 attendants, 81. Make sure you are answering it. Make sure you are answering the poll. I just want to get an idea uh, about your engineering field. It's a varied crowd. I didn't ask you to register. So I'm just trying to get answers to the poll questions. Okay, so mechanical auto, I was knowing that very few people will be from civil, but it's like no one is there from civil. Okay, so still some 65 are done. Another 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'll just end the poll. Quick, guys, those who haven't answered, please answer. 67, 68, good. Okay, still 12, 11, 12 people remaining. Quickly answer it. Okay, yep. At 1 minute mark, I will close this. Yes. Okay. So I'll just share the results with you guys. It's all a mechanical crowd for sure. Okay. So can you all guys see the poll results? Type in yes if you can see the poll results. You can see the poll results, right? Okay. So almost 88% of the crowd is mechanical engineering background. I expected that. So production, nobody's there. Good. Okay, so I'll just have a have a printout of this or a print screen of this, just for my reference, and I will put it here. Yep. So sufficient. Okay. So the second poll I'm going to launch, and just to understand what's the crowd. Okay. So I'll just stop sharing the results, and poll is closed. So I'll go for a second poll. Be ready, guys. Oh, 84 people are there now. Yep. Here you go. So I want quick answers, and it's just selection. I just want to see. I'm going to publish it to everyone anyway. 87, 88. Good. Okay. I think we are going to cross this 100 mark. I'm not sure, but 100 is the limit for Zoom right now for me. So it may cross 100 mark. Okay. So working experience in CAD or CAE. Good. So there are freshers who are searching jobs, and there are students who are not yet searching anything. They are yet to finish their graduation or post graduation, but most of the almost 76% are working professionals or working or having a working experience in CAD or CAE. That's good. Okay. So even the faculty members are still considered as working experience because they must have worked on something. Good. So 5 more seconds. Those who have not yet answered, 5 more seconds. All of you can see the screen, right? Yep. Okay. So I'm ending the poll. Thanks for the replies, guys. And can you see this? Is it visible? The poll. Yep. Here you go. So I am sharing the poll result. Visible, right? That's fine. Read me. So now you have to, guys, take 10 seconds and change your names. Just check what is your name. If I want to address, I cannot address is a Redmi, right? You are not Redmi. You're a person. You're not a company. So just try to change your names. It will be easy for me to address. Okay, good, fine. That's nice. Almost 89 people are there, and that's a good thing. People are interested in seating system. That's a good one. Yeah, that's fine. CA experience or CAD experience doesn't matter. We are not discussing this thing. We are trying to understand a product. Okay. So my post actually read like this. I'm going to stop sharing the results. Yes, poll is closed, and no more polls. Okay, just two things I just wanted to understand. And there are working professionals here. There are freshers also, and there are students also. So freshers who are searching job, they are also there. Okay, so just I'll try to address all the crowd which is present here. Okay, so my screen visible. Just type in visible if my screen is visible. That is the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, I'm just sharing that. It's all visible, right? Yes, good. Thanks, Zaid. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, GS, Geet, Amruta. Yes, nice to see you, Amruta. Ajay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's start with a definition of a good design, because we all, even if we are working in CAD or in CAE, we are actually a part of a design team. Okay, so there are going to be 2 or 3 types of designs. There will be a what I will say, a functional design where we work. So there will be 2 types. One will be functional design, and the other type will be aesthetics. Okay, so functional design can also be of 2 types. It can be a functional design can be structural, or I will call it as engineering. Okay, and there is another part which is ergonomics. Okay, so there are things which are not really mattering to the structural aspect, but they are more mattering to the ergonomic aspect. Okay, so ease of using it and all these things. So functional design will be either engineering or ergonomics, and then you have another type of design which is aesthetic, which we all know what it is, right? Okay, now let's make sure that we are taking notes wherever we feel to. Okay, so I'll just read this definition for you guys. a good design is one that takes into consideration not only the performance requirements but also balances assembly process, manufacture, that this is very very important, assembly process, manufacturing feasibility, cost, weight, quality, and many similar issues simultaneously. This is very very important. So you can have a design which look aesthetically is very pleasing, but it is made up of a material which is of an exuberant cost. It's just not going to play any important role there. Okay, so a good design is one that takes into consideration not only the performance requirements but also balances the assembly process, manufacturing feasibility, cost, weight, quality, and many similar issues simultaneously. Is it making sense, guys? Type in MS if this is making sense. The definition of a good design, so it's not a bookish definition, it's like an inclusive definition. Is it making sense? Type in MS, makes sense. Okay, so good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for replies, because that's the only way I can get a feedback from you guys. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to type. Just forgive me for that, but that's the only way I can get replies. Okay, so just don't take me in a wrong way. Just asking for my own feedback system. Okay, good. So let's move forward and understand. Directly we are going to jump on functions of a seat. But before that, I will just list down few areas where seats are really really important. Okay, so I will just list down few domains where you can find out the seats. Okay, I will be asking you some questions. Make sure you are answering them in a chat box. The question is, where do you find seats? Come on, quick, one answer at a time. I know it's an car. Okay, automotive is one domain. Second, trucks. Okay, so I will describe it as automotive. Okay, so aeroplane is another domain. Aerospace, I will write it down. The third is, yeah, passenger vehicle, commercial vehicle. Yes. So automotive, I will classify as PV and CV. Is this making sense? So automotive, it will be PV and CV. Trains, yes, good. So trains are there, that is railways. Everywhere where we need seating, yeah, I know, correct. Transportation, ships, boats, correct. So first is transportation. It can be auto, it can be aerospace, it can be trains, it can be boats, it can be any mode of transportation, right? And then you have some static offices. Is it right? So theaters, correct, Utkarsh, you're right. So and even there is a not Utkarsh, there is a regulation. So it is theaters, that is public places, correct. And there are folding seats and stadium seats. Home, yes, offices, home, library, everywhere you will find a seat, correct. So roller coasters, yes, it's pretty much an integral part of a roller coaster. Otherwise it's just going to be a pathetic part. But it's just a list, you guys listed it down, correct. So what I want to convey to you guys is, the product is called as a seat, but it has various applications. Am I right? So the applications are different, and according to application and according to this design definition, you have to actually think about certain tests. And this is actually called as, this is something very very important. I try to cover this in first session of LS Diana training, which is design validation plan. How are you going to validate your design? Okay, so who decides design validation plan? A user decides design validation plan according to the application. What do you mean by this? I simply cannot use a train seat in an automotive, correct. It's too bulky, it's not having any adjustments, and it's really really heavy, and it's not made for that particular purpose. It's not a public transport, it's maybe a personal transport where we have to design a seat for taking into account certain consideration. Okay, so every single seating system has to undergo a design validation plan. It sometimes can be regulatory. Not all of it is regulatory, but most of the time it is regulatory. What do you mean by regulatory? It is mandatory. Okay. For example, furnitures. Okay, you may think that okay, anyone can come up with a chair and then just go ahead and launch it. Now it's possible to launch, but the thing is, in Western world or in developed countries, there are regulations for furnitures because you cannot just fall down. It's called as a workplace safety. So even if these chairs, revolving chairs, are for the static use, they are to be designed for balancing the center of gravity. They are to be designed for maximum weight carrying capacity, and they are to be designed for durability. Okay, so there are regulations, there are some standards. They can be internal standards, they can be the government standards, but there are going to be compliances. Okay, but when it comes to safety, I wrote that in a post. It's the second costliest part or sub assembly in entire vehicle. Even the body is not that costly. The second costliest part after drivetrain, it can be IC engine and the gearbox, or it can be the batteries and the controllers and the motors. But it is all going to be the first costliest part, and the second costliest part will be always going to be the seating system. And the reason for that is, somebody asked me a question why it is so costly on LinkedIn. The reason why it is second costliest is regulation and compliance. Okay, you need certification, you need a lot of certifications related to testing. Okay, so this is very, very important. For any type of compliance to be done, you have to undergo a process of concept. Just pay attention: concept, engineering design, virtual prototype, physical prototype, limited production. I'll go to the next page. Limited series production, LSP it is called, and then you have a full series production. Okay, this is the path you guys have to, or any product has to follow if it is going to be a regulatory stuff. And these physical, of course, after physical prototype, there are going to be regulatory tests. Getting my point? What is this cycle? It's not just that you have a concept and you launch a product, or you design a CAD, you create a 3D print, you generate a final production line, and then you're good to go for sales. That's not going to happen. You have to go through a very long process and very, very tedious process, because the concept and engineering design itself struggle together to actually coexist. Because the concept can be exuberant, and then converting it into the engineering design, it itself is a big process. You guys, those who are working, they will understand this. And then you have a virtual prototype, which is nothing but CAE, which is this session for. And then you have a physical prototype, and then you have to go for regulatory test on a physical prototype. Make sure everything is passing. Go for a limited series production, go for a final series production, and then your product will be ready for market. Is this all making sense? I'll give you some 15 seconds. Just write it down as a summary. Why why the seating system is the second costliest part. This is all applicable to full vehicle also. But when we are talking about full vehicle, we are actually talking about integrating various sub-assemblies. Type in done once you are done writing. Okay, some 15 seconds, 10 more seconds. Quick, we have to cover few things, and I really want you to get hang of what is a seating system. Okay, type it done once you are done writing. Quick. Tejas, Suresha, Udani sir, yes. Kannan, good, done. So what you guys have to write is design validation plan, which has to be decided by user, and it has to be actually driven by application. And then there are going to be regulatory tests. And then this is something which you have to understand why it is second costliest. From concept to engineering design to virtual prototype, physical prototype, then you are going to go for regulatory test, limited series production, and final series production. Fine. So this is very, very important for any engineer. It can be CAD, CA, it doesn't matter if you are a student or if you are pursuing or if you are just searching for a job. It's really important for any mechanical engineer to understand what is a design cycle. And for that, the keyword is design validation plan. If you are not very clear about design validation plan, then all of your design is actually a waste. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, it is related to public and occupant safety concerns, so it has to pass through. Yes, correct, Mohit. That's what I'm, and that process is costly because it involves physical prototypes and it involves dummies, it involves the testing lab, it involves many things. That's why it is costly, but that is applicable to full vehicle also. But still, full vehicles are not that costly because they are typically the stamp parts and welded together, whereas here you may have mechanisms, you will have various other stuff. Okay, good. So let's move ahead with functions of seed. That is what we are going to discuss. Okay, so I'll just rearrange this thing. Yeah. So function of a seat, and let's concentrate. Let's make sure we are concentrating on passenger vehicles only. Okay. Can you type in PV, passenger vehicles? PV is like personal transport. It's private transport. It's passenger vehicles. Type in PV so that we are all in line. We are only concentrating on passenger vehicles right now because that is the severe most. Okay, that is very, very severe. Guys, I want you to be active. Quick, 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 quick. PV, PV, PV. Yes, good. Okay. So there are four functions of seat. Okay, there are four functions of seat. The first is support the occupant. The second is position the occupant. The third is comfort. And fourth is protect. Okay, support, position, provide comfort, and protect. Okay, so these all we will discuss in little detail. So what is a support function? Very, very simple. The structural integrity of a seat should be sufficient enough to carry the passenger. It's on a static or a dynamic environment. You're taking a corner and the seat bends. It's not a structural integrity. That's not a support, right? If you are sitting, you as a occupant, you are sitting and nothing happens, everything is safe, and somebody who is just overweight and he tries to sit on the seat and it deforms or it's not functioning, that's not something which is called as a good support. Okay, so most basic function of a seat, we must keep occupant in a stable position for long periods of time, should accommodate various weights, sizes, and proportion of occupants without significant change in shape or function. Now, this is something really, really important. Is this making sense, guys? So, if you are buying a car which is not a custom made, you are buying a car which is directly from a showroom, what is going to happen? The showroom doesn't know, or the vehicle manufacturer is not knowing what is exactly your weight and height, but they know the bracket, they know the ergonomic studies, and they know the percentile of the occupants which are there in that particular selling area. So it can be India, it can be South America, it can be Southeast Asia, it can be America, it can be Russia. Everywhere the survey is going to tell us a different story, and the H point is going to change. We'll see what is an H point, don't worry. So should accommodate various weight, sizes, proportion of occupant without significant change in shape or a function. That too, you are not actually providing a customized seat. That means you are trying to design a seat where it can accommodate the complete population. Okay, understood? Improper support adversely affects position, comfort, and safety. So basically, if you are not having good support, your position, comfort, and safety are at a stake. That's a simple matter. And guys, focus on PV. You have written PV as the input there. Okay, we are only talking about passenger vehicle. Make sure you are only focusing as a car driver or a passenger vehicle driver, not someone who is driving a commercial vehicle, or even someone who is having sitting in a bus. Okay, so that is not we are discussing. We are discussing a private passenger vehicle. Have you understood this? Type in U if you have understood. Support the occupant function. Very, very important, very, very essential. Quick. I want quick replies. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Thank you very much, guys. Shall we move on? So let's go to the, yes, thanks. Thanks, everyone. Position the occupant. So the second part is position. Okay. Now you may think that support and position are same. That's not same. Okay. So for example, this chair is supporting me, but if I just push it up, okay, and I go off the air, this is something which is not in a position. I cannot see everyone, or you cannot see me. That's what is going to happen in heating system also. Okay. So this is about positioning. This is not about carrying the weight. This is about where you are, where your eyes are there. Okay. Where is your eye? Where is your actual limb positioning? Can you operate all the essential functions, the hazard light, the brakes, the accelerator, the pedal, and all these things? If you are able to do, then you are in a correct position. Okay. Subramanyam, no, video is not mute. Everyone is able to listen. Maybe you can just log out and come back in. I think that will solve the purpose or solve the problem. I'm sorry. Okay, so position the occupant. Very important for safe vehicle operation. You can see this. Okay, so if you are if you got a seat, your car is fantastic, but the seating position is awkward. You may not be able to see out of the window. You are not able to see the outside rear view mirrors, inside rear view mirror. You may not be able to operate all the controls, and that is something which is not good. Okay, so position is extremely important. Field of vision, I talked about this, and should have minimal obstruction from steering wheel, from instrument panel, from roof line, belt line, and pillars. What is a roof line? We all know what is a roof line, right? And belt line. Belt line is something which is going to be uh, exactly to the shoulders. Okay, whatever you see as a exactly at the end of door panel, where your window rolling starts. That's your belt line. Okay, and pillars, A pillar, B pillar, C pillar. All these things are going to be important as far as the obstruction of field of vision is concerned. You should not have these obstructions. So you can see that, or you can read some reviews where there are going to be vehicles with thick A pillars for safety purpose, and they have a blind spot. You cannot see while turning. Okay, how many of you can are regularly driving cars? Just type in car. How many of you can are regularly driving cars? Regularly, I'm not saying that you have a learner's permit or you have a license where it is written that you can ride a car, but you are really not doing it regularly. Okay, good. So there are quite a few people who can ride a car and they can understand it. The A pillar, if you are sitting in a driver's seat, and if A pillar is very thick or B pillar is very thick, you are just getting into the blind spot mode. Am I right? Making sense? Type in make sense if this is making sense. So driver should be able to see properly in all mirrors. And who is going to do that? The seat is going to do that, guys. We will think that, okay, this is all about car. Okay, this is all about car. That's not the case. Okay, wait a second. I'll just reply. Please log out and log in back. Yeah, makes sense, correct? Okay, so this is all to do with seat. Now, as let's go back to our definition, guys. A good design is one that takes into consideration not only performance requirements. So even if my seat is fantastic structurally and it's not actually creating or balancing cost, weight, quality, and many similar issues. Now, this many similar issues is this, the field of vision. Can you see it? Can you not see it? Are you getting a lot of blind spots? If I'm 6 feet 5 inches, can I actually get accommodated in the car or not? Am I really made for this car or not? Or uh, if I'm very short person, if I adjust my seat to the full forward pull up position, am I still able to see or operate the vehicle or not? All these things are going to come under many similar issues in a good design. Okay, clear? So let's move to our next point, position. Driver proximity, this is the third point in position of occupant. which is our second base point. The first was, what was the first point, guys? Support. Okay, and this is our second point, which is position. Okay, driver must be able to reach primary controls while in driving position. Driver should be able to reach secondary controls while in a driving position. Okay, so primary controls are, of course, steering wheel first of all. Then you have indicators, turn indicators. Then you have the pedals, operating pedals, A, B, C, accelerator, brake, and clutch, and the gear lever. Okay, so your limbs should be in a position to operate all these primary controls. Of course, the wiper stick is a safety feature. It's not a fancy feature, right? You will not see a car which is cutting the cost by not giving the wipers, correct? So it's a safety feature. It is a primary control. Hazard light is a primary control. Then you have lights, the headlights are primary control. Turn indicators are primary controls. All these things are primary controls. Okay, so driver should be able to reach secondary controls, which are like air conditioning, operating the volume, or maybe adjusting the inside rear view mirror a little bit. Then it can be the sun visor, operating the sun visor. All these things are coming under secondary control. Okay, clear? So driver proximity to hand and leg controls. That is something very, very important. Okay, now let's come to the third point. Up to this point, everything clear, guys? So type in clear if you are clear with these points. Oh, we are 100. Good. So 100 participants, but it's just we will not be able to accommodate anymore. I'm really sorry. Okay, clear everyone? Good. Nice. Now I want you guys to summarize. I'll just go through it, and I want you guys to summarize in 30 seconds support and position, these two functions. Write in your own words. These slides have no meaning if you don't write it down. Okay, so write down in your own words. I'll just scroll it through. Okay, so function of seats, support, position. We have discussed two functions, support and position. So support the occupant is the most. Don't just write it down as it is. Summarize it in your brain and just write one liner. Support the occupant, most basic function, and all these things. Just write this down. I'll try to make it two slides at one time. Wait a second. Yep. Can you see this? On the left, you have position the occupant, and this is something which you have to write it down. Okay, these three slides: position the occupant, field of vision, and driver proximity to hand console. So Subramaniam, you have to log out and come back, log in. Okay, come back, and there is no other option, because if everyone is able to listen, it's the problem at your end. Okay, type in done once you are done writing. Okay, so call in via device. So that's something which Chetan suggests. Yeah, type in done once you are done writing. Support the occupant and position the occupant. Support and position. Support and position. Type in done once you are done writing. Okay, good. I'll launch a small poll again. I said, but I cannot resist. It's a very good feature to get a feedback. Yep. Okay, sometime later I will launch this, don't worry. Okay, good. Everyone done? You need some more time? Yes, no? Done, right? Yep, good. Okay, so let's move on with a very, very important type, which is comfort. Okay, comfort is a very, very important aspect, and it involves a lot of CA. Okay, a lot of CA is involved nowadays in comfort. So provide comfort to the occupant. Comfort is not an exact science. The research is done to determine the amount of seat padding, locate avoid hard points, determine angle of seat back, decide correct amount of thigh and lumbar support, and establish seat height and width. Okay. So basically comfort is not an exact science, it's all relative. Everyone is going to have some different perception about comfort. Some may like a hard seat, some may like a soft seat. Soft seats will not provide you support and then you will feel fatigue, numbness. Hard seat will not provide you comfort and still you will feel fatigued out and then you will come out of the car in lesser time. Okay, so it has to be a balance for sure. Now for that, typically there are going to be two evaluation methods. Okay, this is what is written here. The first evaluation method is it is called as 5 minute or first 5 minute showroom comfort. First 5 minute showroom comfort. What do you mean by this? It's like you are trying to go for a test drive on a two-wheeler. Okay, on a two-wheeler, on a bike, you are going there and you are going to have a test ride of whatever car you wish to buy. And as soon as you arrived in the showroom, because you were sitting in a harsh environment in a two-wheeler, in first 5 minutes you will feel that okay, this is very, very comfortable. Soft plushy seats are most comfortable and all these things you will feel that okay, this is very comfortable. But beware that this is not actually the test ride. You have to at least go for 30 minutes, 1 hour. You may have to lend you may ask your friend to lend a car. Make sure that it is there with you for 1.5 day and try to go on some larger sections and all other things. Okay, this is called as a long distance comfort. So this is not a science, this is all to do with your own self. Then you can have some padding done and all these things. There are seats there, or the seat covers are there which are very thick and all these things are there. But just understand that there are going to be two categories of comfort. Not very important, but it is still there. It matters a lot. It matters a lot when you buy a car. Okay, now this is something which is important and this is all done in CA, very specific abacus. Okay, so static pressure distribution, you have, this is a back. Okay, this is like a front view and you have a static pressure distribution where you will see lumbar is something. I'll just change the color. So lumbar is where you are needing a lot of support. Okay, and this is a logic, simple logic. Okay, so shoulder support, lumbar support, and back or tail burn, because you are actually supporting yourself on lumbar, not anywhere else. So you need a good lumbar support and you are going to get a good amount of comfort there. Okay, and the uh, next part is this one, which is a top view of a seat, and this is a thigh and ischium. This is called as ischium, which is our bottommost bone in our body where we sit. And then we have cushion tail burn, which is very, very important, where our spine ends. And then we have a thigh pressure. Now if you don't have a thigh support, may not be too significant for those who are not driving, those who are passengers, but very significant for those who are driving. So if you don't have an under thigh support, you are going to feel a lot of pressure on your toes, as well as on your uh, on uh, 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 on your heel. Okay, that is very, very crucial, and you may actually sell off the car if it is not providing you good support or good comfort. Okay, that's one part. Now I'll not go very detail in discomfort zone because it is changing every day. Reason being, this is little older data, but what I wish to share with you guys is this one. This is not changing in a large sense. The human sensitivity is 5 to 16 hertz. Okay, and typically this is the 8 to 14 hertz suspension modes. Vehicle floor plan is here. The understanding here for seat designers is 20 hertz, or I'll say logically it should be 15 hertz to 22 hertz is the frequency bracket for the seat in a constrained position. And what is this frequency? This is a natural frequency. Okay, natural, not an excitation frequency, natural frequency of a seat structure. Now this is also designer's role. It's not just CA's task, it is also designer's task to make seat stiff or to get the overall frequency down by changing the center of gravity and all these things. But the comfort is also related to frequency. If you are having frequency matching resonance, you will feel dizzy. You will feel that vehicle is not good, and I'm continuously in an urge to vomit myself, or that is something which is not good. So these are the frequency ranges we typically as CA engineers we work between 15 hertz to 22 hertz as natural frequency, and these mode shapes are constrained mode shapes. That means this is like you are bolting it at 4 locations and then doing the modal analysis. Okay, you can do it in Nastran, you can do it in LSDyn, I can do it in Abacus, anywhere it is possible, even in OptiStruct, that is Radios, you can do that. Okay, so this is something which is where you are actually doing a test on virtual prototype. Okay, now this is what it is, natural frequency, human frequency and natural frequency. Very simple, it's just a simple spring and mass system which I have circulated here. And vibration and isolation, low efforts, so you should have lower efforts, convenience should be there, ease of operation, accommodation of population 5th percentile to 95th percentile, and quality perception, so noise, feel, chuck, robustness, harshness, buzz, quake, rattle, this is BSR issue. NVH is there, noise, vibration, and harshness. This is all written here. So BSR is buzz. You while driving on rough road, if there are grrr, grrr, all these sounds, then it is coming as BSR, buzz, squeak, and rattle. Or there are squeaks. If you are adjusting your height and there is kui, 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 all these things are happening, then it's really not good. Okay, so this is all coming under BSR issues. So this is structural, non-structural, engineering, non-engineering, all, but it is all in all a good package. Fine. Now the next part is very, very crucial. This third part we discussed about comfort or convenience, where you may have to put less efforts to adjust, lesser efforts to actually get your seat in a backward position, lesser efforts to pull your seat in a forward position. All these things come under the convenience part. Whereas the occupant safety part is something which actually makes seat as a costly affair. Okay, it should prevent occupant from moving about inadvertently. Okay, so that means it should not actually, the occupant is not to be allowed to move in event of a crash, but it is not possible without a restraint system. So restraint system is important. Okay, this is a restraint system task. Should prevent occupant from sliding under the lap restraint, which is a submarining, very specific, but we'll discuss that. Should not move fore and aft or tilt forward accidentally. That means there should not be any mechanism failure. No mechanism should fail. The mechanism should be intact. In event of crash also, they should perform with their 100%. Making sense? Is this making sense, guys? Okay, must absorb crash loads to prevent failure of restraint system. So this is what we are discussing. Okay, so now the protection part has to be judged based on 3 types of design principles. Okay, so I'll just write down 3 design principles. Very, very simple. Static load, static design. Those who are new to this, they will actually understand, but those who have already gone through it, those who are my students in LS-DYNA batches, they will now relate it to the practical stuff. Okay, so you have static load, static design. So there are some load cases where the load will be also static and the design will be also static. Then there are cases where you have dynamic load, which is converted into an equivalent static load. So there is dynamic load, static design. Okay, and then you have a crash type of sequence where there is going to be a luggage retention or a frontal impact or a rear impact. All these things are going to come under dynamic load and dynamic design. Dynamic load and dynamic design, where your regular principles of static designs are not applicable. Okay, where you have to do a full-fledged analysis, and then only you will get to understand or get to know whether my system sustains the load or not. Because typically dynamic load, dynamic designs are one-time tests. One time, so it's not reusable. You're not going to use it again. It's going to go into the plastic deformation stage. It's going to go for distortion energy theory. You are going to measure von Mises stresses and all these things, which is typically a mechanical engineering core part of strength of materials and design of machine elements. Is this making sense, guys? Static load, static design, dynamic load, dynamic design, and dynamic load, static design. Type in make sense if this is making sense. So there are various ways in which you are supposed to test a seat or a product for that matter. But seat typically undergoes all three. That's the important part of a seating system. What is happening when you are using vehicle as a regular A to B transport mode? What are you doing? You are doing a static load and a static design, because that is something which is normal. You are not abusing it. When you are having dynamic load and static design, that means if you are going to convert a dynamic load into a static equivalent, okay, that is something which is called as a dynamic load, but you are converting into the static equivalent by applying some dynamic load factors. But your design principles are still static. P by A equal to sigma, and all the theories of failure you will use, everything you will use, and then bending moments you will use, and then you will say that okay, this is safe, this is not safe. But where there is going to be a dynamic load, which is nothing but time domain, it becomes tricky, because this is like one time test and you have to focus on how much energy you are absorbing or not absorbing for that matter. Sometimes you have to absorb a lot of energy, and sometimes you don't have to absorb energy. You just have to make sure you are a rigid link and pass it on to the next part. Clear? Good. Thanks a lot, guys, for replies. Okay, so now a simple poll time. Just a second. Uh, yep. Can you see the poll? Just to keep you engaged, don't worry. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the next part here. Learning, right? This is just to keep you awake. I know you're learning a lot of things which are new to you. Seating system is new to you. Sometimes there are few people here who are stalwarts in seating system. They are attending my session so that I don't go wrong. Okay, but it's something which is very important. Yes, good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your replies. Uh, just ending the poll. Just for my sake, are you learning something? Because otherwise, I'll just go off track, and that's something I don't want. Okay, good, nice. I'm just ending it. Thank you very much for replies. All of you said you're learning something. Good. Okay. So let's go to the next part, which is nothing but vehicle and seat orientation. Okay, so this is very important. uh, Before you go for design validation plan, you have to understand a term which is called as packaging. Okay, and this is the start point of a packaging, where you will define an origin of a vehicle and you will define XYZ of a vehicle. Very simple. I'll just run through it. Front, rear, we all understand. A, B. So A is going to be the passenger side for left hand drive or right hand drive markets. So this is driver side, this is passenger side, and then you have rear passengers. Then you have, as I said, driver side, passenger side. Then you have center line of a vehicle, and the important aspect here is right hand and left hand. This is not going to change for any vehicle. This is not going to change. So in North America, the driver is going to sit here. In Asia and UK, the driver may sit on the other side. This is very, very simple. It's 50-50%. Inboard outboard is important. What is it? Whatever is coming close to the center line will be called as inboard, and whatever is going away from the center line will be called as outboard. Okay, so there are two terms which are interchanged: left inboard, left outboard, or right inboard and right outboard. Okay, so this is how the nomenclature works typically. Fine. Now what is important, one thing missing is, if I have vehicle, always the length of vehicle is considered in x-axis, always 100% of the time. Any of the vehicle manufacturer, let it be bus manufacturer, car manufacturer, tractor manufacturer, anyone, the length of a vehicle is always, that means longitudinal dimensions are always x, width of a vehicle is always y, always. Okay, and the height of a vehicle is always z, always 100% of the time. So there is going to be length, width and height of a vehicle, which is 100% of the time this one. Okay, now the next part is types of seats. Okay, so we'll talk about types of seats, and then I will be jumping onto the regulation part, okay, which is a CAE regulation part. This is like a first session, orientation session for CAE batch. Already 6 or 7 students are enrolled to this batch. So I just want to give you an experience in first session that okay, this is going to happen in the next slides or next training parts, which are all going to be live. Okay, so this is going to be a live session for 1.5 months next. So 4 basic types of seats are there. OEM decides type of seat according to the vehicle styling, seat system function and target market segment. Front seats are typically adjustable. Rear seats are also adjustable. They are typically called as captain seats. In Innova or in some 3-seater cars, you may have seen that. And then there are rear seats which tend to support by the vehicle body, PIW. Okay, so we'll go into little details about types of seats, and I will jump onto the regulation part. Okay, so now this is bucket seat which holds 1 occupant. This is a bench seat which can hold 2 or 3 occupants at a time. This is a split seat, split bench, 60-40. So this is a 40% side, this is a 60% side, and you can independently close either just the back or both cushion and back. That is something possible. You have single cushion with single split, so there is no split at all. Then you have single cushion and back is split. So now what is this cushion and back? Basically the structure which is supporting the back is called as a back structure, and the structure which supports your ischia and supports your buttocks, this is called as a cushion structure. So typically vehicle manufacturers or seat manufacturers have back structure and cushion structure as their talking point. Okay, so let's come to this part of a seating system, which is types of folding mechanisms. Various types of folding mechanisms are there. As you can see, stow flat, which is nothing but it goes below the BIW line. Fold flat, which just folds at the same position. You have fold and tumble, where you may have seen, right, in entering into the third row, sometimes the middle seat folds and tumbles so that you can enter into the third row side. Then you have this kind of a flip and fold seat, rocking seat, reclining seat, swiveling seat, stadium seat, where back structure remains at the position and cushion structure folds down. Then you have sliding and lifting and all the stuff. Okay, so this is all combination which you can see in the market, which we are anyway going to discuss when there is going to be a progression in the course. But this is just an overview, so I'll just go forward with the regulation part. Okay, so this is the nomenclature of a seating system. I'll just show you. Okay, so these are inserts and all, but I'll just show you this. Yeah, here you go. So this is a seat back and this is a seat cushion. These are the two dominant assemblies in the passenger vehicle front seat or a driver seat, or I will call it as a bucket seat. Okay, bucket seat. These are some dominant assemblies, sub assemblies, and they get married at recliner. Okay, these two sub assemblies get married at recliner. That's what is going to happen. So this is all going to be just an information, not that important. H point, R point, I will explain you, but before that, let me go to a regulation. Okay, I just want to get you guys onto the regulation part. So seat frame, this is all a part of a 15-hour series where we discuss a lot of things in detail. But I'll just go to a regulation. I think it is on my computer. Wait a second. Let me pull it back. Yep, here you go. So okay. Okay, the videos. Give me a second, guys. Till that time, you could just try wrapping up. Yep, here you go. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm opening a PostDB file, which is an ls prepost file typically. And this PostDB file will give you an info. This is a free tool, so anyone can download it. Just go on Google and type in LSPP. You're still going to see a lot of things. Okay, so I'll share my complete screen. Is this seat visible? This is a dynamic load case for sure. And another thing, I'm sharing it in open because this seat is from GrabCAD. So this is not my seat. This is not any customer's seat. Okay, this is a seat from GrabCAD. Go to grabcad.com and type in seat frame. You will be still able to see the seat frame. Okay. So why I'm launching to the regulation is I just want to give you an idea what are we going to learn if somebody wishes to join this course. Okay, you may get into touch because I'm not going to discuss anything about fee structure or details here for a very long time. Just last 5 minutes, I'll just flash it up. But what I want you to understand is the seating system is very complicated piece of assembly. Okay, and that is to be understood in a detailed way according to the regulations. It should not be understood according to the product. It should be understood according to the regulation because people understood the product first, derived a regulation, and then the product got evolved. Okay, that is all happening hand in hand. So if I just run this or animation, this is already done. Calculation is already done. This LS prepost is an interface for LS Dyna, and it's like a pre and post processor, free of cost to everyone. There is no license requirement. Okay, so if you want to create some IGS files, step files, you can just generate IGS and step files using geometry here. And you can import IGS and step if you wish to import IGS and step files free of cost. So, and you can measure everything by going to geometry tools and ID measure. You can measure everything, diameter, lengths, etc., etc. Okay. But the thing is, this is a seat. These are just the regulatory planes to check H plane, H plus 100, H plus 150. And this is a luggage block, which is of 18 kilogram mass. So how I check it? I'll go to element tools, I'll go to measure, and I'll just check the part mass. Very simple. Just go to mass and global part, and I'm just going to click here. Can you see this? The mass here is in tonnage. Okay, typically LS Dyna we work with ton millimeter second. I'll explain you if you join LS Dyna course. But mass of shell part is 0.018039. That is roughly 18 kilogram if you multiply it by 1000. This is in ton, multiplied by 1000 to get it in kilogram. Okay, so this is 18 kilogram as per regulation. So this is an 80 kilogram mass, and we are not giving velocity to the luggage. So luggage is not going to hit the seat. seat is going to hit onto the luggage because it is a frontal impact. So I'll show you how it is. If I go to animation control and run it in a left view, so let me just orient it. Okay, guys, before I play it, everything visible? I just want to confirm. Type in V if everything is visible. Visible, right? Okay, good. Fine. So if I just click here, it's very fascinating and interesting. So I'll just clear everything so you can see the luggage block, and I can change the background to black and I'll run it. What is happening? The seat is moving rearward because that's the actual scenario in event of vehicle crash. The vehicle is going to hit on maybe another vehicle or a rigid wall, and it is going to bounce back, correct? And this crash sequence is something which is going to prevent vehicle to move forward. That means vehicle floor is going to move rearward, but the luggage block, okay, the luggage block is not part of the vehicle. So physics says that, as per the second law of physics, uh, it is going to continue to be in either rest or in a motion. So the luggage block will look like it is in motion, but actually luggage block is stationary, and the vehicle will try to move backwards towards the luggage block. So you guys can see this. Now, if I want to post process it in a clear way, the complete running of the seat will not give me a good idea. So I'll just fix this part. I'll go to follow. Don't worry, this is a very simple tool. We have a different course for that, for LS Prepost. Yeah, here you go. Can you see this? So what is it looks like now? It looks like the seat is actually not moving, and luggage is going to hit onto the seat. Okay. And if I go for a left or a right view, I'll just fit it. Yeah, here you go. If I just go for this view, what I mean to check is whether the head restraint, this part, of course the structural part, not the foam, head restraint crosses the H plus 150 plane, and the foremost part of a seat, this part, is crossing the H plus 100 plane or not. Now this is dynamic load, dynamic design. Load is also dynamic, and you cannot make an equivalent of this dynamic load and run it. You will never get a correct result. Okay, so this is the first of a test in a dynamic part. So I'll just list down in a PowerPoint. I'll just list it down for you guys to understand. Yeah, here you go. So these are some tests. There are some 300 slides. I don't want to go through them all together right now. So if I just go here, mm, let me go to the test requirements, types of seats. This is ECR 14. Okay, so here I will write it down as regulations. Okay. So there are going to be, I'll just explain you what are the types of regulations and what are the regulations we are going to do. That means all of them. So the regulations are dynamic loads and static loads. Okay, there are going to be dynamic loads and static loads. So dynamic loads are, as I said, luggage retention. That's first in the chart, luggage retention as per whatever regulation. It can be FMVSS, ECE or AIS, doesn't matter. Luggage retention is having some variations, but it's more or large the same. Then you have static loads, which is going to be ECER 14, which is seat belt anchorage test. Seat belt anchorage test. This is very crucial. This is a dynamic equivalent or static equivalent of a dynamic test, that is frontal impact. Then you have second static test, which is head restraint performance test or SBS. Okay, plus, or I mean to say, HRP is a different test, and SBS. So wherever you don't have a head restraint, you will go through the seat back strength test. Then in dynamic, you have another test, which is a frontal impact with dummy. Okay, then you have The head is in dynamic load case, you have head impact on seat. There are energy dissipation test, ED. They are not head impacts, but they look like head impact, but they are energy dissipation. Then you have ADR, some Australian regulations are there, or there are ECR 14, the seat belt anchorage, but for child restraint. Okay, so we are going to learn about child restraints also. What is this child restraint seat and how it works and all these things. And then you have regulations which are misuse. Okay, and you have a rear impact test with dummy, but that doesn't come under regulation. So no regulation has a rear impact test, but typically people check for rear impact after HRP and SBS. So there are minimum 7 regulations to be passed so that you actually go and do the tools and your prototype will be ready. But otherwise, this is not possible for a simple engineer. You need a team to do that. So if I just show you my folder for seating system, these are all the test runs we have done. So you can see this. Is my folder visible, guys? You have seat belt anchorage, you have ECR 14 report, you can see this. So if I just open the report, you'll see the co-driver seat. This is not the actual seat. Again, this is a seat from GrabCAD. I cannot show anything which is from the customer. And this is how the report looks like. This is how the bending looks like, the folding look like. All these things are there. So I'm not sure whether it has a movie file or not. I think no. No. So it's not having a movie file, but you can see bolt location, axial forces, bolt load. So we are going to learn how to prepare the report, what are the things which we have to give it as an input in the complete course. Okay. And then if I just go to the folder again, the luggage retention test, and there is going to be a report. There are going to be ASCII files, the velocities and etc. Head restraint performance test, you can actually see there is a movie file here. I'll just open it for you guys for a reference. You can see this. So the back loading is done, and on the same seat, we are trying to do the loading through the head fork. Okay, that loading is happening, and you can see the time moving forward, and the load gets completed. Okay, I'll just run it again for you to understand. Okay, there is going to be a load which is not going to cause any kind of kinetic energy. Yes, so we can check penetration in LS very fast and very accurate. Okay, so this is something which is important. Now let's come back to another load case, which is frontal impact. And I don't know whether I have an MVW. I don't know whether I have okay, so I don't have the post processing or this file, but I'll just open input file for you guys, which is master. I'm not sure whether I have a master file or not. Yeah, include Dyna in INC. Okay. I'll just open this with LSP post. 4.8 is released. Those who want to download 4.8. Can I get mannequin data? No, I don't think so. Yes, George, you can remove intersections automatically in LS prepost. Okay, so this is a seat without a dummy, and if I just try opening, so this is a deformed seat. Then we have, I'm not able to see the master file. Yeah, I think it is here. Yeah, here we go. So let me open this transformation file, and it will have a dummy. This in itself is a dynamic load or dynamic load dynamic design kind of case. Yeah, this is what it is. Can you see this? Visible, right? So we are going to learn how to position the dummy, how to route the belt, how to do the slip rings, because there will be a slip ring here at the anchorage point, and how to design the slip ring. We are also going to learn how to define the contacts, check the penetration, how to deform the seat, because there is a seat deformer here, If you go here, there is a seat deformer which will make sure that seat is getting loaded. Seat is getting loaded due to the occupant sitting on it. Okay, so we are going to see that, explore all the possibilities in LS Prepost as well as some possibilities in Hypermesh in the complete training program. Okay, so this is something which I wanted to share with you guys. And another part here for the seating system is the head impact part. Yeah, here you go. So this is the head impact part, which is also important. So I don't know what is there in the image, but let me just open it. Okay, so this is an energy plot, very, very important, whether your run ran correctly or not, whether you have stable energies or not, whether you have kinetic, internal, total, hourglass, sliding, damping, all energies are in balance or not. So here you can see the kinetic energy is dropping down, the internal energy is increasing, and there is a sliding energy, which is nothing but the friction, typically. Okay, so this is very, very important, and you guys have to understand whether my run is valid or not. I'm not talking about product, I'm talking about CAE run. So to attend this course, you should have a basic working knowledge of LS Dyna. We are not going to learn LS Dyna in this course, we are going to learn seating system in this course. So those who have already enrolled for LS Dyna training, they are completely entitled to join this course, because they are anyway going to get a knowledge for LS Dyna in a due course, and then they can go forward with the seating system training. Okay. The other type of analysis is this backform 373 Newton meter. If I just open this file, you will understand what it is. It's a simple loading condition where the backform is getting loaded. It's a static load condition, or actually the load is converted from dynamic load to static, and this is what is happening. Okay, so you can see this is a backform, this is a seat, and you are going to push it. Again, this is a seat which is reversible, available on GrabCAD. This is not my seat, this is not customer seat. We'll not share customers data, we'll work on GrabCAD data, so that it's okay for you guys also to publish it. That's what my intention. Okay, and these are all the calculations, these are all the, yeah, another thing we are going to learn is H1 H2 test, which is a commercial vehicle test. So this is a test devised by ARAI, 1000 Newton at 800 millimeter, 2000 Newton at 500 millimeter, and then you have to check for the displacement. Okay, so these are the tests which we are going to conduct, which we are going to carry out. Okay, and this is something which I wanted to share. The seat itself, bus H1 H2, correct, Sanjay? And this is something which you are going to learn in seating system design or seating system using CAE, that is LS Dyna. This course will go for, okay, so coming back to the course for next 5 minutes, and then I'll go open myself for question and answers. The types of seats which we are going to cover is front seat, rear seat, and bus. 3 types of seats, but we are going to cover all regulations 100%. Okay, we'll cover all the regulations. This includes 15 hours of training on product. Okay, this is going to be a recorded sessions, but this will be for lifetime with you. So this includes a 15 hours of training, and the regulations are supposed to be solved on LNO licensed machines. Okay, and this is what I'm going to give you a access from month of November. We are in process of doing that. So you'll get access to these licenses, and you will be able to solve it by your own, and it's going to have a live support. Of course, I will be training everything live. Everything will be live for sure, and this has a prerequisite of LS Dyna working knowledge. Okay, I'm not going to teach you LS Dyna for sure. The regular fees, just coming to this part, regular fees are, if you go into our brochure, they are 30,000, roughly 29,999, and right now we are offering it at 27,999. Okay, so roughly 2000 rupees off, and this is what we are doing, 27,999. It's going to be 1.5 month course, and every alternate day we are trying to meet on weekends mostly, but for a longer time. Okay, it will be on weekends because most of you will be working professionals, so it will be on weekends but for a longer time, like 2 hours, something like that, because there will be too many problems, too many questions. We'll be learning how to set it up. We'll be learning how to actually go and create every single thing, joints, then the bolting, the welding, everything in LS Prepost. And I'm making it LS Prepost because that is generic. If I go for ANSA, I need ANSA license. I have Hypermesh licenses, but sometimes it will happen that somebody else is not understanding Hypermesh at all. So I'm sticking myself to LS Prepost for model setup. Anyway, we are going to do dummy setup in LS Prepost. Anyway, we are going to do all these setups in LS Prepost. The contact setup, the connections, everything is possible in LS Prepost in a quickest way. Okay. So this is going to start on Sunday, this Sunday, that is 18th. Okay. So on 18th of October, we are starting our officially the first session. So this is our officially first session, but it was just an overview. But we are going to start working on a seat from 18th of October. Okay, and this is very, very important. Okay, this will be at 6:30 to 7:30. I have a class, so it's going to be at 8:30 p.m. India Standard Time. Okay, this will be a 1 hour class, 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And then we will be discussing in the closed batch what will be the suitable timing. Okay, but these are the course fees, and if anyone wants to get in touch with me to get enrolled, just make sure that yes, complete CAE analysis including deck setup, everything we are going to cover, Sanjay. So this is going to be all CAE related activity. It's all going to be complete seating system. We will understand what is penetration removal technique. We will understand the types of contacts used in seating system. We will understand materials used in seating system. We will understand post processing. We will understand report preparation. We will understand the debug, complete deck setup. Everything we are going to do it. Okay. So Sanjay, EMI option is available on credit cards. So if I will be giving you links, those who are interested, just let me know. I will be giving you links. You can convert your purchase into credit card. Yeah, it's like a so Mohammed, you can talk to me. Okay, I'm not a university, so I can call it as a PG diploma, but I'm not a university. So you can talk to me. You guys have my email address, right? nupadke@gmail.com, and I will be so I'm just putting this email address in front of you, nuphadke@gmail.com. Okay, I can create a payment link straight away in front of you and send you for EMI conversion. If you have questions related to the seating system training, just ask me any question you have. Open for questions. We are going to cover everything in CAE, whatever I know since last 16 years. We'll try to cover everything in CAE training, this seating system CAE training. Yes, there will be a placement assistance for every single one. We placed 2 candidates in last week on seating system itself. So 2 candidates on seating system and 3 as a GETs. Okay, but they are not from the seating system batch, of course. They are from somebody else, but we will be assisting you in placement till you get placed. Don't worry. There will be a placement assistance for this batch because you will be knowing LS Dyna, you will be knowing seating system. It will be easy for us to place you. Okay, we'll be assisting you. Don't worry. Yep. Any other question, guys? You can just ask me in a chat box. You can just raise your hand. I will unmute you, and then you can ask me question. That is also possible. You can raise your hand and I can unmute you, and then you can ask, or you can directly ask on a chat box. Not a problem. Course duration is going to be 1.5 months. Okay, it can get extended because of, yes, every single session will be live, and you will get a full access to all these sessions for lifelong. I'm not going to get rid of the access. They will be on YouTube, don't worry. It will be a limited access, but it will be on YouTube. So every single session will be there for you to access before you appear for any interview. Not a problem, we'll do that. So Chetan, as we are doing in our batch right now, typically on weekend, we will be doing it on weekends only, but for a longer time. So the sessions will be for a longer time, 2 hours per day. And then I will be giving you a lot of tasks to do in the complete week, because 2 hours is just like me talking. After that, you have to work on it. That's how online works, right? So you have to work on it, then only it is possible to get converted. Okay. Any other question, guys? Any question? I'm pretty happy to answer all your questions. Not a problem. Any questions on the topic, types of seeds? What are the various things? See, I'll just show you one thing here. I'll just show you one thing. Wait a second. So I'll go to YouTube. I'll show you the 15-hour session which will be included in this. This session recording, yes, you will get it. I will be just uploading it on YouTube anyway. Okay, so this session recording, you will get it right away after this gets converted. Your channel, okay. I'll just show you. Sanjay, you already attended that session for, I think, for seating system, right? Yes, correct. So 1 second, guys. I'll just show you one thing. Okay, so these are all the playlists which you can see. Yep. So you'll be getting a complete playlist, so online series for seating system design. You'll be getting a playlist, and you are going to have access to it for lifetime till YouTube exists. I'm not going to delete it. Okay. Yes, good. Okay, Kamlesh, I'm unmuting you. Yep. Let's come back to questions and answers. I'll just stop sharing. Kamlesh, I have unmuted you. Okay. Can you ask your question on chat box? I'm not sure what is happening. This was a knowledgeable session. Thank you very much. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so guys, those who are interested in seating system training, full seating system training CAE, get in touch with me. I'm just putting my email address again, nuphadke@gmail.com. Just for your simplicity, I have my company email address, but still, I really want you guys to not give me any email on my company email address right now, because there are a lot of projects going on. So this is something you can do, and get in touch with me. This will be a very, very important session. This is where I excel. I'm working in seating systems since last 16 years. This will be a once in a lifetime opportunity. I may not be starting this session quite often. This took me very long to get time due to my busy schedule, regular daily updates. Make sure you are attending this. Make sure you are really making use of this and the placement assistance which we are going to provide, because you are vendors to seating system company. So it will be easy for us to get an access to the job opening. That's what it is. It's a simple truth. Okay, I'm not going to give you any fake promises. We'll be assisting you till you get placed. That's what we are going to do. But that is with a condition that you are supposed to finish the course, not just enroll to the course. Okay, you are supposed to finish it, and then it's easy for us to get into touch. So the final fees are 27,999, and you can convert it into EMI on credit cards. If you are uh, 2 or 3 people together, we have a group discount going on, but just get in touch with me because it's difficult for me to talk to everyone. Okay, fine. So was that session useful, guys? You learned something? Type in useful if this was useful, and then we will see of everyone. Useful? Yes, good. Thank you very much. Just make sure keep myself in mind, and uh, uh, just post or connect me on LinkedIn. That's a very important thing, guys. So connect me on LinkedIn. That's a very important platform for me. I typically present only on LinkedIn, don't put a lot of things on Facebook. So on LinkedIn, try to connect me. Make sure you are there. Make sure you are listening to me. And we are also starting an interview session on Saturdays and Sundays. That session also you guys should attend. That's a very good session. So there will be a session on interviews. It's a paid session, but that's good. Okay, so see you then, guys. Have a good night, and thanks for attending. Stay safe, stay at home. Don't unnecessarily go into the crowds, and thanks for attending on a short notice. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you very much. See you. Thanks, Suresha. Have a good night. Good night, Mohammed. Good night, Ali Murtaza. Good night. Yep. Yes, thanks, Sanjay. Hope to see you in the session. Good night. Good night, Praveen. Yeah. Good night, Rohan. Yes. Okay. See you then, guys. Bye. Yeah, Sanjay, no problem. Not now. I have a meeting immediately. But tomorrow morning, if it is okay, you can give me a call. Tomorrow morning, I'm free. Yeah, I have a meeting now at 9:15. Okay. Good night. Yeah. Yes. See you. See you tomorrow. Okay. Bye, guys. I'm ending the meeting now. Bye.